Hello guys, today we're going to talk about the simple present tense. So when do we use the simple present tense? Let's see. We use it when something is generally or always true. So we use it for facts. For example, water freezes at 0 degrees. The earth revolves around the sun. We also use the simple present tense for habits and repeated actions and events. For example, she only eats fish. She always does that. It rains every afternoon in the hot season. So that's an event that happens repeatedly. So we can use simple present. We also use the simple present tense to talk about scheduled actions in the near future. So even if we're talking about something that will happen in the future, if it's something that is scheduled, so we are sure it will happen, we use the simple present tense. For example, your exam starts at 9 o'clock, or his mother arrives tomorrow. So this hasn't happened yet, but we know that it will happen because it has been scheduled. We also use the simple present tense for a situation that we think is more or less permanent. For example, they work at a bank, I travel every summer, she has two daughters. So, of course, the situation can change, but at the moment we are speaking, it is a permanent situation. So, I work at Alice's school. Maybe it can change in the future, but now that's what's happening. So how can I say the simple present tense in the affirmative form? So we just need to use the base form of the verb for I, you, we, and they. So nothing changes. So I can say I take, you take, we take, or they take. It doesn't change. So for the third person of singular, we need to add an s to the end of the verb. So we need to say he takes, she takes, it takes. Now let's see some rules for the third person of singular. So we're not going always to add an s. Depending on the verb, we need to change a little bit more. So verbs ending in y, the third person changes the y to ies. So I say I study, but he studies with ies. I try, she tries. We carry, she carries. It flies. I cry, she cries. So for he, she, and it, if the verb ends with y, we need to substitute y by I and add es. Okay, but be careful. Y doesn't change if before the y we have a vowel. If you have a or e, o, u. So for example, play. If you observe carefully, before the y we have the vowel a. So in this case, we're not going to substitute y by I. So we're just going to add s to the end of the verb. So play becomes plays, buy becomes buys, and enjoy becomes enjoys, okay? So if before the y you have a consonant, okay, no problem, you can substitute the y by ies. But if before the y you have a vowel, in this case you just need to add s to the end of the verb, okay? Another thing that you need to pay attention that with verbs that end in s, sh, z, o, you're going to add es to the end of the verb. Yes, it's very fun, right? Repeat with me. S, sh, z, o. Z, o. Okay, it's very simple. If you memorize this, you'll never forget that. So if the verb ends with one of these sounds or these letters, so you need to add es to the verb, okay? So for example, we need to say he passes, she catches, he fixes, it pushes, John goes, okay? So s, z, o, o, okay? Never forget that. Very simple. Now let's see some examples. So, honeybees live in hives or colonies. So, if you pay attention here, we just write the verb live. Okay? We don't need to change anything because honeybees is in plural. So, if you substitute honeybees by a pronoun, it would be they. So, we don't need to change the verb. Honeybees live. The queen bee produces chemicals. In this case, yes, you need to add s to the verb because the queen bean is in singular. So if you were to use a pronoun substitute the queen bee, it would be it. So it produces. Okay, so it's very simple. For plural, you don't change the verb. For singular, you add s to the verb. Okay. Chemicals that guide the behavior of the other bees. So what guide the behavior? The chemicals. Chemicals is in plural. It's they. So that's why we don't change the verb. So chemicals that guide the behavior of the other bees. Another sentence. Chickens have small wings but can't fly very far because of their heavy bodies. So why do we use have here? Because chickens is in plural, remember? And for plural, we don't change the verb. Jaguars roam, hunt, and live alone, only coming together to mate. So here again, the verb, we don't need to change the verb because we have roam, hunt, and live, talking about the jaguars. And jaguars is in plural form, so we don't change the verb. But in the other sentence, I changed it a little bit. So we have a jaguar eats deer and capybaras. So eats, we need to add s because a jaguar is in singular form, okay? So if you'd use a pronoun here, it would be it. It eats deer and capybaras. Now let's practice a little bit more. So now it's your time, okay, to give me answers. So the first sentence is, cheetahs eat meat. They have brilliant eyesight. So these are the verbs inside the parentheses, and I want to complete the sentence with the verb in the correct form of the simple present. How do you complete it? Yes, well done. Cheetahs eat meat and they have brilliant eyesight. We don't need to change the verb because cheetahs and they are in plural form, right? So we don't need to change the verb. Next sentence. The maned wolf have red fur, long ears, and legs. So now you need to see if you write the verb in that way or if you need to change it. Yes, very good. I'm happy that you understood. We need to change the verb because so here the maned wolf is in singular. So you can't write have, the maned wolf have, no. But we also can't write the maned wolf haves. No, never. You need to say the maned wolf has red fur, long ears, and legs. Okay? So that's a little bit tricky, right? So pay attention. Have in the third person of singular becomes has. Okay? Instead of haves, you say has. Okay? Next sentence. The barn owl make almost no noise when it fly. At night, the barn owl catch some rodents. So now you need to complete the sentence with these three verbs, make, fly, and catch, but in the correct form of the simple present. Well done, yes, the barn owl makes almost no noise when it flies. Flies, in this case, you need to write with IES because you substitute the Y by IES, since before the Y you have a consonant, L, so flies. At night, the barn owl catches some rodents. So catches, you need to write with ES because catch ends with sh, right? Remember? Oh, yes, catch ends with ch, and it is in the third person of singular, it. So it catches some rodents. Okay, very good. Okay, but there is something very important that you need to remember. In these words, the singular now has the exact same form as the plural. So the plural form of sheep is sheep, fish, fish, deer, deer, moose, moose, prey, prey. That's important. So you can say deer have, okay? Sheep eat. We don't say sheeps eat, okay? No. Sheep eat. Fish swim. Okay, deer have. Moose catch. So you write in the plural form and singular form in the same way, okay? So now it's your time to do this exercise, okay? Now you're going to remember everything that you learned in our class here, and you need to complete the sentences with the correct forms of the verbs. Very good. Thank you very much, students, for watching this video class, and keep practicing, okay? If you have any questions, send me an email, okay? And I'll be glad to answer and help you. I hope you have enjoyed the class and you have understood about simple present in the affirmative form.